Look, man, this has to be said. Like, I'm really getting tired of these uneducated people always talking crap about Vince Russo. As a wrestling booker and a wrestling writer, it's like you don't know anything about wrestling. Just admit you are a casual who just stopped watching. You don't know anything. It's like tons of people are so brainwashed by Jim Cornette. It's like, wow, man, why can't you think for yourself? Everything he says is not right. I would say 5 out of 10 times. It's like Jim Cornette is the definition of a blame deflector who doesn't look in the mirror. It's like, look, man, his videos are actually entertaining, but most of the time, he's wrong like 5 out of 10 times. It's like, bruh, look in the mirror. It's like, look, his hatred for Vince Russo, it's from pure jealousy. He knows Vince Russo is better than him. It's not even close. As a booker and a wrestling writer, it's not close. Vince Russo whoops his ass every day, any day of the week. Like, did you see Smoky Mountain? That failed. Did you see Ring of Honor? When he was there, half of that roster didn't like him. Did you see him in Impact Wrestling? He was a failure there. But this notion of, oh, Vince Russo killed WCW. Dude, just call yourself a Jim Cornette sucker, okay? That's what you are. Because did you see that roster in WCW in freaking 2000 and in 01? It was trash. Vince Russo was doing God's work with that roster. Look, no disrespect to Jeff Jarrett, but if he is your top guy, you got problems. If he is your world champion, I'm sorry, and he is leader of the NWO at that time, you got problems, bro. Look, all he had to work with was Jeff Jarrett, Buff Bagwell, Scott Steiner, and Booker T. That's all he had to work with. And he had an aging Sid Vicious who freaking broke his leg. Who else did he have on that roster? That roster was in transition. Blame that on Eric Bischoff. WCW signing all these old guys past their prime, yeah. Once the year 2000 hit, that came back to bite them in their ass. That wasn't Russo's fault. That was Eric Bischoff's fault. Signing Kurt Hennig, Ray Traylor, all these older guys, Hogan, Savage, Nash, Hall. All of those guys were getting older and older and older. He had an older roster that couldn't really go anywhere at a high level. WCW paid for that. Building their company around all these older guys and not pushing all the young talent, that came back to bite them in their ass once the year 2000 came. Because then they had to push all the guys from the goddamn power plant who were not ready for a big spotlight. How is that Vince Russo's fault? Dude, Jim Cornette would have done worse if he was the booker. He would have done more terrible if he was a booker of WCW after 2000. You kidding me? See, that's where the jealousy comes from. Here's why he's jealous of Vince. It's because he knows Vince Russo's style of booking draws eyes to the goddamn product. He's jealous of that. He's jealous because nobody watches a booked Jim Cornette show. case in point, the new generation era. Remember that? How come everybody always says for 93, 94, 95 that version of the WWF was trash, right? Who was on the writing team? Who was on the booking staff? Jim Cornette. Who was not on that staff? Vince Russo. Okay, fast forward to 96, 97, 98. Who's on the booking team now? Vince Russo. Then WCW, they stopped whooping the ass of WWF once Vince Russo came on the team. But Jim Cornette does not want to talk about that. Once again, blame deflecting, not being self-aware of your own issues. Bruh, Jim, you was on that team, 95, 94. You was on the writing team, bruh. You was on the booking staff, man. What's your excuse? How come the WWF was getting their ass whooped for 83 weeks in a row, bro? Then once Vince Russo had more power on the creative team, that's when the ratings went up. But it's because of that you are jealous. You are jealous because you don't understand why people like. Let me phrase it. You don't like that casuals gravitate towards Vince Russo style television and not yo ass. That's what it is. Seriously. That's basically what it is. He's jealous. Because everything Russo touches, it actually does draw eyes. The fact that Vince Russo was trying his best to make what he had on that roster in 01 and 2000 work, he was doing God's work. That was a garbage, trash roster, man. Nobody could have done with that roster. Nobody could have done anything with that roster, man. You had Goldberg, he was kind of losing steam. So it's like, who was left? You had Hogan way past his prime. It's like, who was left to actually push besides Booker T and goddamn Scott Steiner? Nobody else, man. To me, Vince Russo did a decent job with what he had to work with. He didn't have no Rock, no Austin, no Kane, no Taker, no Triple H. Give him a goddamn break. But the point is, he's jealous of all of that. He's jealous because people like what Vince Russo writes and what he was booking at that time. Jim Cornette is jealous because nobody likes his old-fashioned 1970s style pro wrestling. He's jealous of that. He's jealous because he lives in the past. Vince Russo was like, hold on. People love trash TV. See, at that time, Jim Cornette qualified as a guy who was living in the past. A guy who was out of touch. Vince Russo was a guy who was in touch. He was following the goddamn trends. Jerry Springer, guys like that was drawing. It's called, look, it's simple. It's called analytics. That's what Vince Russo was following. People during the late 90s, trash TV was drawing huge ratings. So Vince Russo brought that to the WWF and it drew. Jim Cornette, he's jealous of that because he lives in the past. Still to this day, he still has the same old man out of touch mindset. That's sad. Because Jim was still young back then. Now he's an old guy. He still has that same jaded 1970s pro wrestling mindset. And here's the thing. All this hate towards Vince Russo, and guess what, bro? I bet you didn't know this. Jim, when it comes to the wrestling industry, he's actually more hated than Vince Russo. I bet you didn't know that, though. Dude, majority of pro wrestlers hate Jim Cornette, but the majority of wrestlers actually love Vince Russo. Am I wrong? No. Go look at the Vince Russo brand. That man has a podcast where he works with tons of other wrestlers from the past who are friends with him still to this day. How come Jim don't have those kind of friends? All Jim's friends are damn near 60, 80, 70. Oh goddamn men. It's like, how can you hate Vince Russo when he is still friends with Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Shane Douglas, damn Mick Foley, freaking Bray, but nobody I know likes Jim Cornette when it comes to being a wrestler. There's a lot of wrestlers who hate Jim Cornette, but they love Vince Russo. Look, let me tell you this. If Tony Khan told his roster, who would you want me to sign on the creator writing team? Jim or Vince Russo? Dude, 9 out of 10 people on that roster would choose Vince Russo and not Jim Cornette. The only people on that roster would choose to work with Jim Cornette will probably be FTR, and it ends there. People love Vince Russo. If you ask that WWE roster currently, who would you want to work with? Vince Russo or Jim Cornette? 10 out of 10 will say Vince Russo. Why? Because he doesn't focus on the wrestling. He wants storytelling and character development. He doesn't want to see you get injured. He doesn't want to see you work a 25-minute match that means nothing. He wants to protect you from yourself. Live to fight another day. That's what the point is. It's like, get that through your head. It's like, as a wrestler, dude, I would love to work with Vince Russo over Jim Cornette. Are you kidding me? Vince Russo seems like a guy anybody can get along with. Jim Cornette, you kidding me? He feels like a goddamn drill sergeant. I wouldn't want to work with him. You kidding me? Vince Russo seems like a very flexible guy that you can bounce ideas off of. And he wouldn't give you no pushback because he has no ego. He ain't no Mark. He's not a goddamn Mark. That's the difference. I would love to work with Vince Russo, man. Are you kidding me? Based on what he was doing in the goddamn Attitude Era, who wouldn't want to work with him? You kidding me? Dude, he helped build The Rock, Stone Cold, the Ministry of Darkness, Val Venus, the Mean Street Posse, the goddamn Brood. All these things were his ideas. The Big Boss Man's angles, Mark Henry and the damn Hand. All these things were his ideas. Stone Cold Steve Austin being on a cross. Big Boss Man being hung. Like, bruh, all these things were his idea. It's like, what? Like, what are you talking about here? Triple H. His career can be owed with a lot to Vince Russo as well. DX. All that was Vince Russo's ideas, man. Nothing to do with Jim Cornette. So why do you worship Jim Cornette? What has he done? What did he do during the Attitude Era? He was on that staff. He was on that writing team. Every time I listen to Bruce Pritchard, he always gives credit to Vince Russo. All those ideas during the Attitude Era was his idea. He never gives credit to Jim Cornette. But hold on, how come they was drawing so much TV ratings at that time? He had a great roster, great goddamn storylines. That bodes well. He goes to goddamn WCW. He has a weak ass roster, aging. He basically had the same ideas from the WWF. It's just he had a weak roster that couldn't make compelling television because it was a weak ass roster with not a lot of talent. That's the goddamn difference. It's like, dude, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, they don't like Jim Cornette. Dude, Vince Russo does a podcast every week on IG Live with freaking Diamond Dallas Page, another legend. I can't see DDP working with Jim Cornette. You see what I'm saying? Dude, why is Jim Cornette working with a nobody like freaking Brian Last? You got Vince Russo. He works with legends who've been in the game, who wrestled for top companies. He's still friends with DDP, Stone Cold, The Rock, Shane Douglas, Stevie Richards, Big Vito. Great wrestlers from the past, Vince Russo still friends with. He's still friends with the goddamn Dudley Boys. Tommy Dreamer, RVD, he's still friends with these guys, man. It's like, who hates Vince Russo besides Jim Cornette? Dude, there's not, look, I would say 90% of the current wrestlers in the business right now, they hate Jim Cornette. But nobody hates Vince Russo. It's only you Jim Cornette fanboys who don't like him. It's like, bro, it's like tons of wrestlers talk to Vince Russo every day. It's like his podcast partners are freaking wrestlers. So who hates Vince Russo? Nobody from TNA hates him. Samoa Joe love him. Styles love him. Jeff Hardy loves him. Who hates Vince Russo? Besides, when it comes to the wrestling business, you know why? Tons of people want to work with Vince Russo because he don't care about the wrestling. He cares about sports entertainment. And no, you damn marks, Vince Russo did not birth sports entertainment. It was Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon hates the word pro wrestling. It's always been that way since the 80s. He hates the term pro wrestling. He sees it as sports entertainment. He hates the word wrestling. Hence why you never hear the word wrestling on SmackDown or Raw or any other TV show. He hates the word professional wrestling. So Vince Russo and Vince McMahon, they were a great team because they had the same mindset. They felt like wrestling, it's all about this sports entertainment and making great characters and gimmicks and storylines. It's not about the wrestling. I don't care about guys fighting for 25 minutes if I don't know why they're fighting. I'm not a mark, dude. I'm sorry. You a mark. Look, if you are Mark, start your own channel and just freaking mark out. Seriously, just freaking mark out, bruh. This channel is about being objective. I don't care about 5-star matches. I just don't, man. They bore the hell out of me. I care about storylines that led to a match. Not a match just to have a goddamn match. I don't care about that, man. So the point is, that's why Jim Cornette is really jealous of Vince Russo. Because Vince is not a mark for wrestling, yet he's better. He has a more great mindset for the business than Jim Cornette. That's facts. That's a factual statement. Look at the evidence. What did Jim Cornette draw as the lead writer for the WWF before Vince Russo was on the damn staff? He ain't draw nothing. Nothing. Get that through your head. Jim Cornette never drew a dime as a damn writer over Vince Russo, and that's facts. Go look at it, Google it. I'm not lying. That's what the numbers say. The numbers say Vince Russo is a better writer than Jim Cornette. He's a better booker than Jim Cornette. That's why he's jealous. He don't know why Vince Russo draws so many eyes to TV. He didn't know why, so he was jealous of that. We all go through that at our workplace. Where it's like, yeah, you are whooping ass, right? But your ass got coworkers who might be a little bit envious of you, right? That's what it was. Jim Cornette was a butthurt, jealous coworker who was jealous of the success of Vince Russo. We all go through that at our jobs, right? Same thing here. I said, I'm done.